Welcome to my channel, Practice English with Ease. Have you ever noticed how some people speak only a few simple sentences, yet everyone listens carefully, respects them, and remembers their words? They don't shout, they don't use big fancy vocabulary, and their English is not always perfect. Still, their words feel powerful. Why? What if I told you that speaking smartly is not about perfect grammar, a big vocabulary, or sounding like a native speaker at all? Speaking smartly is about using a few simple habits that anyone, yes, anyone, can learn, even if you are an absolute beginner in English. If you stay with me till the end of this video, I promise you this. You will learn how to sound clearer, more confident, and more intelligent every time you open your mouth in English. So stay focused, stay curious, and let's begin. Chapter 1. What speaking smartly really means and why it matters. Before we learn how to speak smartly, we must first understand what speaking smartly really means. This is very important because most English learners carry the wrong idea in their minds. The biggest myth about speaking smartly is this. Many people believe that to speak smartly, you must use big, difficult words and perfect grammar. This belief creates fear. It makes learners feel nervous, shy, and insecure even before they start speaking. Let me tell you something very clearly and honestly. Speaking smartly has nothing to do with big vocabulary, fancy expressions, or sounding like a native speaker. In fact, many people who use big words often sound confusing, unclear, and even arrogant. Smart speaking is not about showing off your English. It is about making people understand you easily and respect what you say. So what does speaking smartly actually mean? Speaking smartly means speaking with clarity. Clarity means your listener understands your message without effort. They don't have to guess what you mean or replay your words in their head. Your message is simple, direct, and clear. Speaking smartly also means speaking with confidence. Confidence does not mean being loud or aggressive. It means sounding calm, sure, and comfortable with your words. Even if your English is simple, confidence makes people trust you. Another key part of smart speaking is respect. When you speak smartly, people feel respected because you speak thoughtfully, you don't waste their time, and you choose your words carefully. And finally, speaking smartly means being understood. The goal of communication is not to impress. The goal is to connect. If people understand you clearly, you are already a smart speaker. Now let's talk about something very important. People start judging us within the first few seconds of speaking. This happens everywhere. In job interviews, meetings, classrooms, offices, and even casual conversations. Before people know how educated you are or how much experience you have, they listen to how you speak. If your speech is unclear, rushed, or confusing, they may think you are unsure or unprepared. But if your speech is calm, clear, and confident, they immediately feel that you know what you are talking about. This judgment is often unconscious, but it is very powerful. That is why learning to speak smartly can completely change how people see you. Let's look at how speaking smartly can change different areas of your life. Imagine a job interview. Two candidates have similar skills. One speaks fast, uses long sentences, and struggles to explain ideas clearly. The other uses simple English, pauses before answering, and speaks calmly. Even if the second candidate's English is not perfect, the interviewer will feel more confident in them. In meetings, a smart speaker is the one people listen to, not because they talk more, but because when they speak, their words are clear and meaningful. In daily conversations, speaking smartly helps you express your thoughts without fear. You don't feel rushed or embarrassed. And perhaps the most important change happens inside you. When you speak smartly, your self-respect grows. You stop feeling small. You stop apologizing for your English. You start believing that your voice matters. Now let me show you a very important contrast. Imagine two people. The first person has average English. Their vocabulary is simple. Their grammar is not perfect. But they speak slowly, clearly, and with confidence. They use short sentences and get straight to the point. People listen to them. Now imagine the second person. They know many English words. Their grammar is strong. But they speak very fast, use long, complicated sentences, and jump from one idea to another. The listener feels confused. Who sounds smarter? Almost always, it is the first person. This is because smart speaking is about delivery, not difficulty. It is about how your message feels to the listener. So why do English learners feel nervous while speaking? The main reason is fear of mistakes. Many learners think, what if my grammar is wrong? What if my pronunciation is bad? What if people laugh? This fear blocks your mind. It makes your speech worse, even if you know what to say. Another reason is lack of structure. Learners often don't know how to organize their thoughts before speaking. They start talking without direction, and then they feel lost. This video series is designed to fix exactly these problems, step by step. We are not trying to make you sound like someone else. We are helping you sound like the best version of yourself in English. Here is something very important to remember. You do not need to speak more to speak smartly. You need to speak better. Smart speakers choose their moments. They choose their words. And that is exactly what you are going to learn in this video. Each chapter will build on the previous one. We are creating a strong foundation, one layer at a time. If you try to skip steps, you may feel confused. But if you follow along from beginning to end, you will notice a real change in how you speak and how you feel when you speak. And now, here is the key transition. Speaking smartly does not start when words come out of your mouth. It starts before that. It starts in your mind. In the next chapter, we are going to learn the most powerful habit of smart speakers. A habit that immediately makes you sound calmer, clearer, and more confident. And that habit is learning how to think before you speak. Chapter 2. Think before you speak. Now that we understand what speaking smartly really means, it's time to learn the habit that sits at the very foundation of smart speech. This habit is simple, powerful, and life-changing. Thinking before you speak. Most people don't realize this, But the biggest reason many speakers sound nervous, unsure, or confusing is not bad English. It is rushing. When we rush into words, our brain does not get enough time to organize thoughts. As a result, our speech becomes messy. We jump from one idea to another. We repeat ourselves. We lose control, and the listener feels it immediately. When you speak too fast without thinking, you send a signal to the listener that you are unsure. Even if your idea is good, it doesn't sound strong. Rushing also creates pressure inside your mind. Your brain tries to think and speak at the same time, and that is very difficult, especially in a second language. This is why many English learners feel stuck, even though they know the answer. The solution is not speaking faster. The solution is slowing down and thinking first. This is where the power of the pause comes in. A pause of just 2 or 3 seconds before speaking can completely change how you sound. That short pause may feel long to you, but to the listener, it feels natural and confident. Smart speakers are never afraid of silence. They use silence as a tool. When you pause, you show control. You show confidence. You show that your words are worth waiting for. That pause gives your mind space to breathe and prepare. Now, let's talk about filler words. Words like, like actually, basically. These words are not bad on their own, but when we use them too much, they weaken our speech. Filler words appear when our brain is trying to think while we are already speaking. They are signs of rushing. The more you pause before speaking, the fewer filler words you will use naturally. You don't need to fight them. You just need to slow down. Here is a simple way to understand what happens in your brain. Your brain needs a moment to choose the right words, especially in English. When you pause, even for a second, you allow your brain to move from panic mode to thinking mode. That pause helps your brain organize thoughts, select clearer words, and create better sentences. Without a pause, your brain grabs the first words it finds, and those words are often messy. Now let's learn some practical techniques you can start using today. First, breathing before speaking. Whenever someone asks you a question or you want to share an idea, take one slow breath in. This does 2 things. It calms your body and it creates a natural pause. This pause stops you from rushing and gives your brain time to prepare. Second, identify one main idea. Before you speak, ask yourself a simple question. What is the one main point I want to say? Not 3 points, not 5 points, just one. Once you know that main idea, your speech becomes focused and clear. Third, use short sentences. Short sentences are powerful. They are easy to understand and easy to remember. Long sentences increase the chance of mistakes and confusion. Smart speakers prefer clarity over complexity. Let's look at a clear before and after example. Imagine someone asks you, "How was the meeting?" A rushed speaker might say, yeah, it was okay. We talked about a lot of things like the project and some issues and stuff." This sounds unclear and uncertain. Now listen to a smart speaker. They pause for 2 seconds, take a breath, think of the main idea, and then say, "It went well. We discuss the project challenges and plan the next steps. Same situation, very different impact. The second speaker sounds calm, confident, and in control. Here is an important emotional shift that happens when you start thinking before you speak. People begin to respect you more, not because you talk more, but because when you talk, your words have meaning. You stop filling silence with unnecessary talk. You stop explaining too much, and people start listening more carefully. This leads to a hidden benefit many learners don't expect. People interrupt you less. Why? Because your speech is clear and structured. When people understand you, they don't feel the need to jump in or finish your sentences. Now, let's do a mini practice exercise you can try right now. The next time someone speaks to you today, do this. Step 1. Listen fully. Step 2. Take one slow breath before replying. Step 3. Decide your one main idea. Step 4. Answer using 1 or 2 short sentences. That's it. This small habit, practiced daily, can completely transform how you sound in English. Remember this important rule. Smart speaking is not about speed. It is about control. Silence is not your enemy. Silence is your ally. When you think before you speak, you take control of your words instead of letting fear control you. And now, here is the transition to the next chapter. Once your thoughts are clear, your words must also be clear. In the next chapter, we are going to learn how to choose the right words so your message is simple, powerful, and easy to understand. Because clarity in thought must always be followed by clarity in words. Chapter 3. Use simple words. Now that you've learned how to think before you speak, it's time to talk about the words you choose. This is where many English learners feel the most fear. There is a very common myth that needs to be broken right now. Big words do not make you a smart speaker. Let me say that again clearly. Big words do not make you sound smart. In fact, very often they do the opposite. Many people use difficult words not because they are confident, but because they are insecure. They believe that if they sound complicated, people will respect them more. But the truth is, smart speakers choose words that make their message easy to understand, not hard. If you listen carefully to great leaders, successful business people, inspiring teachers, or powerful speakers, you will notice something interesting. They don't use complex language. They use simple, clear words. Why? Because their goal is not to impress. Their goal is to communicate. They want everyone in the room to understand them, from beginners to experts. That is real intelligence. When you can explain something clearly using simple words, it shows you truly understand it. Let's talk about the benefits of using simple words. First, clarity. Simple words are easier to understand. Your listener does not need to stop and think, what does that mean? They can follow your message smoothly. Second, connection. When you use simple words, people feel closer to you. They feel you are talking with them, not above them. Third, confidence. Using simple words shows you are comfortable with yourself. You are not hiding behind vocabulary. And fourth, memorability. People remember simple phrases. They repeat them. They share them. Complicated language is easy to forget, but simple language stays in the mind. Now, let's look at how to replace complex words with simple ones. This is a very practical skill. For example, instead of saying utilize, say use. Instead of commence, say start. Instead of endeavor, say try. Instead of approximately, say about. Instead of purchase, say buy. These simple changes make your speech clearer without changing the meaning. The message stays the same, but the impact becomes stronger. You may have heard advice like, speak like you're explaining to a 12-year-old. Some learners misunderstand this and think it means sounding childish. That is not true. It means explaining your idea in a way that is easy to understand. You are not lowering your intelligence. You are raising your clarity. When a 12-year-old can understand you, adults will understand you even better. This skill is especially important in English, where long sentences and heavy vocabulary can quickly confuse listeners. Another common mistake is over-detailing. Many learners think more details mean better explanation, but too much detail can confuse people and make them lose interest. Smart speakers focus on what is necessary. They give just enough information to make the point clear. If the listener wants more, they can ask. Over-detail creates noise. Clarity creates impact. Let's look at a comparison example. Complicated version. Our current objective entails the implementation of strategic methodologies to enhance productivity in alignment with organizational goals. Simple, powerful version. Our goal is to work better so we can achieve our company's plans. Both sentences mean the same thing, but the second one is easier to understand, easier to remember, and easier to trust. That is smart speaking. This is usually the moment when learners feel relief. You don't need a big vocabulary to sound smart. You don't need to memorize difficult words. You don't need perfect English. You just need clear ideas and simple words. This realization removes a huge weight from your shoulders. Suddenly, speaking English feels possible. It feels lighter. It feels more natural. Let me reinforce this clearly. Simple English is strong English. Simple English is confident English. Simple English is smart English. When you speak simply, your message becomes the star, not your vocabulary. People focus on your ideas, not your grammar mistakes. And ideas are what make people respect you. Now here is the transition to the next chapter. Even the simplest words can lose their power if they are spoken in the wrong way. Words need the right sound and the right speed to truly connect with people. In the next chapter, we will learn how to control your tone and pace so your simple words feel powerful, confident, and engaging every time you speak. Chapter 4. Control your tone and pace. Up to now, you've learned how to think before you speak and how to use simple words. But there is one more element that decides how your words actually feel to the listener. That element is your tone and your pace. This is where many speakers lose their audience, even when their English is correct. Two people can say the exact same sentence, using the same words, and yet one sounds boring and forgettable, while the other sounds confident and inspiring. The difference is not in the words, The difference is in the voice. Let's start with tone. Tone is the emotion in your voice. It shows your attitude, your feeling, and your intention. Your tone tells people whether you are confident, interested, serious, happy, or unsure. Even before people fully understand your words, they feel your tone. This is why tone is so powerful. If your tone does not match your message, people feel something is wrong. For example, if you say, "I'm really excited about this," but your voice sounds flat and lifeless, the listener will not believe you. Now let's talk about pace. Pace is the speed at which you speak. Speaking too fast often makes you sound nervous, rushed, and difficult to follow. Many English learners speak fast because they are afraid of silence or afraid of making mistakes. On the other hand, speaking too slowly can make you sound unsure or boring. A smart speaker finds a balance. They speak at a speed that allows the listener to understand each sentence clearly without feeling rushed or bored. One important thing to understand is this: the same words can sound boring or inspiring depending on tone and pace. Words are only half of communication. The other half is how those words are delivered. This is why many people with simple English still sound powerful, while others with good vocabulary fail to connect. Let's look at some common mistakes. The first mistake is speaking too fast. When you speak fast, you lose control of your breath, your pronunciation becomes unclear, and your message feels messy. The second mistake is using a flat tone. A flat tone has no emotion. It makes even interesting ideas sound dull. Flat tone tells the listener, "This is not important," even when it is. Now let's learn some practical techniques to improve tone and pace. First, the smile voice. When you smile while speaking, even slightly, your voice becomes warmer and friendlier. People can hear the smile, even if they cannot see you. This instantly makes your speech more pleasant. Second, pausing for impact. Do not rush from one idea to the next. Small pauses help important points sink in. For example, confidence is not about speaking louder. Pause. It's about speaking with certainty. That pause makes your message stronger. Third, stressing key words. If you want people to remember something, emphasize the most important words by saying them slightly louder or slower. For example, the most important thing is to stay calm under pressure. Stressing "most important" and "stay calm" makes the sentence powerful. Fourth, matching mood to message. If the topic is serious, your tone should be calm and steady. If the topic is exciting, your tone should be energetic. If the situation is professional, your tone should be respectful and clear. Smart speakers adjust their tone naturally to the situation. Now let's look at a strong before and after example. Flat and fast version. You can achieve your dreams if you work hard every day and never give up. Now listen to the improved version. You can achieve your dreams, pause, if you work hard every day, pause, and never give up. Same words, very different feeling. The second version sounds confident, emotional, and inspiring. Here is a simple but powerful practice tip. Record your voice. Use your phone and record yourself speaking for 1 minute on any topic. Then listen carefully. Are you speaking too fast? Does your voice sound flat? Are there places where you could pause or add emphasis? This exercise is uncomfortable at first, but it is one of the fastest ways to improve. When you can hear yourself clearly, you can improve quickly. Here is an important emotional truth. People may forget the exact words you say, but they will always remember how your voice made them feel. Your tone creates emotion. Your pace creates comfort. When people feel comfortable and connected, they listen. And when they listen, your words have power. Now let's move to the next important idea. Truly great speakers don't just talk well, they listen well. In the next chapter, you will learn how listening more than speaking can actually make you sound smarter, more confident, and more respected in every conversation. Chapter 5. Listen more than you speak. So far, we have talked about thinking before you speak, using simple words, and controlling your tone and pace. Now we come to one of the most surprising secrets of smart speaking. Listening. Many people think that smart speakers are those who talk the most, but in reality, the smartest speakers are often the best listeners. Listening is not the opposite of speaking. Listening is what makes your speaking powerful. When you listen carefully, the quality of your speaking improves automatically. Why? Because listening gives you information before you speak. It helps you understand the situation, the emotions, and the real question behind the words. When you understand first, your answer becomes more accurate, more relevant, and more useful. Instead of guessing what to say, you know what to say. Listening also brings many powerful benefits. First, better answers. When you listen fully, you don't give random or rushed replies. Your answers fit the situation perfectly. Second, trust. People trust those who listen to them. When someone feels heard, they feel safe. Third, respect. When you listen without interrupting, people feel valued. And fourth, fewer arguments. Many conflicts happen not because of bad intentions, but because of poor listening. When you listen first, misunderstandings reduce. Now let's talk about how poor listening damages communication. Imagine speaking to someone who keeps interrupting you, checking their phone, or already planning their reply before you finish. How does that feel? You feel ignored. You feel unimportant. And when you feel that way, you stop listening too. Poor listening breaks connection. It creates frustration and distance. Even good words cannot fix bad listening. So how do smart speakers listen? Let's go step by step. First, full attention. When someone is speaking, give them your complete focus. Put away distractions. Look at them. Let your body show that you are present. Second, no interrupting. Even if you think you know what they are going to say, wait. Let them finish completely. Interrupting sends a message that your thoughts are more important than theirs. Third, active listening signals. These are small actions that show you are engaged. Nodding your head. Saying short responses like, I see, right, or that makes sense. These signals encourage the speaker and keep the conversation flowing. Fourth, paraphrasing. This means repeating a short version of what the other person said before responding. For example, "So you're saying the deadline was delayed because the files weren't ready." This shows understanding and prevents confusion. Now let's look at a strong comparison example. Poor listener. A friend says, "I had a really hard day at work. My boss was very upset." You reply quickly, "Oh yeah, my day was terrible too." This response shifts the focus to you. The friend feels ignored. Smart listener. The friend says the same thing. You respond, "That sounds stressful. What happened?" You listen fully before speaking. The friend feels supported and respected. Same situation, very different impact. Now let me introduce a simple rule you can use in daily conversations, the 70-30 rule. Listen for 70% of the time, speak for 30% of the time. This doesn't mean you should be silent. It means you create space for others first. When you finally speak, your words are sharper, clearer, and more meaningful. Here is the emotional truth behind listening. People feel valued when they are heard. When someone truly listens to us, we feel important. And when people feel important around you, they naturally respect you. This is why listening is strongly connected to leadership and influence. Great leaders listen before they lead. Great speakers listen before they respond. They understand that influence comes from understanding people, not from overpowering them with words. Think about interviewers, teachers, mentors, and great communicators. They ask questions. They listen deeply. And when they speak, their words matter. That is the power of listening. Now, here is the transition to the next chapter. Once you listen well, your words become more focused and meaningful. You stop wasting words. You start choosing them carefully. In the next chapter, we will learn how to select the right words and speak with purpose so your message becomes powerful, respectful, and unforgettable. Chapter 6. Choose words with purpose and build confidence through practice. We have reached the final chapter, and this is where everything comes together. You have learned how to think before you speak, how to use simple words, how to control your tone and pace, and how to listen more than you speak. Now it is time to focus on two powerful elements that turn good speakers into truly smart speakers: word choice and confidence. These two work together. Skill gives you structure, but confidence gives your words life. First, let's talk about word choice. Words are powerful. Every word you choose sends a message, not just about your idea, but about you. Careless words can damage trust, even when your intention is good. For example, saying, "You are wrong," can make people defensive. Saying, "Let's look at this another way," keeps the conversation open. Both express disagreement, but one builds walls while the other builds bridges. A smart speaker understands this and chooses words carefully. One of the best habits you can develop is replacing negative words with constructive ones. Negative words close minds. Constructive words open them. Instead of saying, "This is a problem," say, "This is a challenge we can solve." Instead of, "I can't do this," say, "I haven't learned this yet." Instead of, "That idea is bad," say, "That idea can be improved." These small changes create a big difference in how people respond to you. Now let's talk about speaking with purpose. Smart speakers always know why they are speaking. Before you open your mouth, ask yourself one simple question. What is my purpose right now? Am I speaking to inform, to inspire, to solve a problem, or to connect with someone? When you know your purpose, your words become focused. You stop talking just to fill silence. You start talking to create meaning. Here is a powerful rule to help you choose the right words every time. The 3 filters rule. Before you say something, quickly ask yourself 3 questions. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? If your words pass all 3 filters, you can speak with confidence. This rule protects you from regret, misunderstandings, and unnecessary conflict. Another powerful tool smart speakers use is word hooks. Word hooks are short, memorable phrases that people easily remember and repeat. Examples include, clarity is power. Less talk, more action. Listen more, speak better. These phrases stick in the mind and give your message extra strength. You don't need many. Even one strong phrase can make your words unforgettable. Now let's talk about confidence. Confidence is not a talent you are born with. Confidence is a skill you build. Every confident speaker you admire started as a beginner. The difference is practice. The first step is preparation. When you know your topic, your mind feels safe. Even simple preparation makes a huge difference. The second step is practicing out loud. Speaking in your head is not enough. Say the words. Hear your voice. Practice in front of a mirror or record yourself. Body language also plays a big role in confidence. Stand or sit straight. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Make eye contact. Use open hand gestures. Your body sends signals to your brain. When your body looks confident, your mind starts to feel confident. Your inner voice matters too. Replace thoughts like, I'm bad at English with, I'm improving every day. The way you speak to yourself shapes the way you speak to others. Start small. You don't need to speak in front of a crowd tomorrow. Begin with daily conversations. Share one opinion. Ask one question. Each time you speak, you build confidence. And remember this: mistakes are normal. Even the best speakers make mistakes. They don't panic. They continue calmly. Confidence is not about being perfect. It is about being comfortable. Here is a simple daily routine you can follow. Read out loud for 5 minutes. Record a 1-minute talk on any topic. Learn one new word and use it in a sentence. Practice eye contact in conversations. Say one positive affirmation each morning, like, my voice matters. These small habits create big results over time. This is the emotional truth I want you to remember. Your voice is your power. Your words can open doors, build relationships, and change how people see you and how you see yourself. When skill and confidence come together, your speaking becomes natural, calm, and smart. If this video helped you and you want to keep improving your English and your confidence, don't stop here. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment below about what part of speaking English you find most difficult. Join our learning family, because here we don't just practice English. We practice English smartly.